Hello and welcome. Happy GI Joe Day and welcome to the Newsburst live special with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80, brought to you by Generals Joe's REBORN.com. Let's bring that microphone a bit closer to my face. Yes, wow. So, fully expected something to happen on GI Joe Day. It has on every GI Joe Day since 2020, I want to say. Or roughly like 2021, 22, maybe 23. Anyway, yes, we've already done a weekly. As we were as we were recording the weekly, it was going out live. A number of digital renders were posted by Hasbro on both Hasbro Pulse and their GI Joe socials, two separate posts, which made it very confusing to follow and try and work out what's going on. But yes, lots of cool stuff has flown out, and not just that, but also a little heads up that there will be a fan stream later this month as well. No date yet, but I assume we'll get more information this coming week. If it's not this week, then maybe next week that we'll get it, but either way, it's coming soon. Amazing stuff. Now, what else was I going to say? Yes, lots of renders to get through, lots of cool details to look at, lots of interesting, like, so much funny things have happened. So I did say to Pat on the weekly, you know we're going to get the Striker reveal today, and lo and behold, it was. And only for the pure fact that we'd had the gridiron reveal, Fans Hobby are doing a Chenoweth based sort of dune buggy vehicle, and now we've got a classified version thrown in the mix as well, with the kind of like is almost a mixture of the two third-party ones that we're dealing with. Anyway, let's have a look. Let's get stuck in and let's get into it because there's a lot to talk about. So here we go. Yes, if you've been living under a rock, if you've been living under a rock, is what I should have said there, for the last 2 hours, then you won't have seen any of these things, and it'll be new to you. As it is, we're going to look at this stuff anyway. So we have got multiple things to get stuck into. We'll start with the post from the GI Joe socials, which stated, "Attention, GI Joe fans, it's GI Joe Day, and we're dropping intel on new classified series render reveals straight from the front lines. But that's not all. We're picking up chatter about an incoming GI Joe classified series fan stream later this month. More details are coming soon, but trust us, you won't want to miss this mission briefing. Darklon, Breaker, Divers, and more retro card backs are coming your way. Which of these new recruits are you most excited to see in action?" Well, let's get stuck in. So, boink, we'll start with Darklon. Now, Darklon completes the 4-figure wave that we already have seen renders for, of course, for Footloose, Blowtorch, and Frag Viper. So Darklon completes that next wave, and I'd be so surprised if that's not what we're seeing pre-order wise for the fan stream later this month. I expect those 4 figures to be the 4 sort of pre-order reveal drops, right? Because they're the next up on our listings. So I expect those to go up first. But obviously Darklon, this is the first time now we've seen Darklon's helmet, and I should add helmets. Yes, 2 of, and very interesting indeed. With another one that they've gone with, very, very cool. So not only do we have that cool version of Darklon with the crazy awesome classic helmet, but also this crazy thing as well. I love how the eyes look in that, by the way, in that other helmet. I wonder if that comes off. I wonder if it's removable and there's like something underneath. Could be. It looks quite depthy. It looks like there's some depth around the eyes. It looks like that helmet could come off and there could be a head underneath. But we'll have to see on that one, won't we? We'll find out later this month anyway. If not, there'll be a leak or something right there. Because we've seen the rest of Darklon, basically, apart from these heads, which is really cool. The one on the left, though, that's an interesting one. Very interesting indeed. Crazy cool, tongue sticking out, all sorts of detail on like some sort of metallic skull type thing. Again, it's very like if, he had a Destro-style helmet sort of vibe. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it'll be interesting to hear Lenny's reasoning behind doing this extra head, the kind of idea behind it, the design, and obviously we'll be talking to them post fan stream as well, which we'll have to get stuck into. Yes, so Darklon head looks like the Nox logo, says Scott. Oh, interesting. Never thought of that. Does his alt head have his tongue stuck out? Yes, it does, RKW. It has the tongue of the helmet is sticking out, yes. It is a separate head, yep. Well, I'm talking about the black helmet, I think is removable. Not the other thing is a head sculpt, absolutely. You swap the head out, but his standard vintage head is what I'm looking at. That is what I'm thinking might be removable. I don't think the one on the left-hand side is a helmet. I think that is a head sculpt, yes. Does anyone know the date of this fan stream? As I've said, Samuel, we know. They said later this month. That's all we know at the moment. Destro homage. Yeah, it feels like a Destro thing, doesn't it? Kind of like that silver head sort of vibe. Was definitely hoping for more Skybound tie-in just to merge more media. Pass. Do you know what? When the render popped up, I didn't give it enough time to look at it, and then I went, oh, did I see another head in there? Scan back, thinking it was going to be the Fabio style long hair from the Energon Universe comic, but no. It's a shame, really, because I've got to say I think this Darklon is an absolute beauty of a figure. Do I need the Evader? Probably not. Probably not. Do I want this Darklon hard? Yes. Gone too far. Coming back. Oh, sorry, I've gone too far. I've gone too far. The other aspects, obviously, comes with his giant weapon, which was leaked some time ago and kind of tipped everyone off that Darklon was coming anyway. And then, of course, you've got the little dagger that goes in his left kind of like calf holster. You've got the big sword. And sheath, which clips, I think, to the side of his belt. I think, anyway, I can't remember what I've seen in the leaks. I think it was the side of his belt. Maybe it's just on his back. And the pistol as well, which goes in his chest kind of holster, or torso holster, we'll say. But yeah, very, very cool indeed. Nice. Again, I don't expect a lot of accessories with Darklon, so this is more... Well, obviously, we knew the pistol, the sword, and the dagger, and the weapon, his classic weapon, were coming. And we kind of had expected an extra head. I don't think we expected this extra head, but we've got one. And so what I feel like we've got like everything that was expected and a little bit more, with just the replacement in my head of the heads, this weird kind of cool Destro homage, kind of silver head. Chrome head instead of the what expected Skybound one is what I was expecting. He looks good. Wonder when we'll see IG Destro. Well, Flaffle, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But yes, I also wonder when we're going to see that. We'll come to that in a second, Loco. Now we need a Python Patrol repaint, says Pass. That's interesting. That's an interesting thought. Python Patrol Darklon would be very awesome. He's kind of already there in terms of deco. Anyway, that's Darklon. Brilliant. Retail wave of 4-figure, which we'll look at the listings after the fact in a second. But next, Mass Device Breaker. Now, this will fill in a listing that has long been a confusing head scratcher for a lot of us. Who were aware of this particular listing dropping. This technically was the listing that we expected to go up on that last missing in action Target Fall Geek Out situation. So obviously we'll put that we'll get to that listing in a second, and I'll explain my workings out. But a lot of people thought this was going to be a retro carded situation. In actual fact, it looks like it's going to be this mass device theme, which not only does the mass device theme kind of teeter into exclusives territory, but it also looks like we might be getting this theme for Target. I say that because the listings we have for this one and for the divers, which we'll talk about in a little while, they are target listings. So yeah, so everything is starting to fall into place and make a bit of sense. It looks like Target are going to be shifting from that Tiger Force Python Patrol situation, and are going to be kind of piggybacking on this mass device kind of theme. So that's as far as we're aware. So this listing, if it hasn't changed, will be a Target listing, and yeah, is Breaker. And if it originally, we were actually told Tiger Force Breaker, but that was last year. So it might have been a situation where it was always going to be this, and they just moved it to the next year, sort of thing, to make sense with the rest of everything else. Anyway, that is that. It could also very, very easily also be another exclusive, and that the listings may have changed. So we'll have to get to that point when we get there, basically. So when the live stream happens, if they can fill us in with more information on these, what style of, what format of sales they're going on in terms of what exclusives, or what, pulse, whatever it may be, we'll have more information obviously then. We're still working on that kind of old listings info, so I'm kind of putting that out there, but at the same time, I don't know, the more I think about it, the more it does make sense that it could be a Target theme change, because we haven't seen any Tiger Force anything in the future, and a lot of listings do exist out there. So we'll see how it goes. Plus, I think this particular listing was up in the Target system as well. You get a backpack that's slightly more kind of attuned to his vintage, but is this a reuse of the Saw Viper backpack? Have I just noticed that? I can't remember. Someone will have to point it out. Saw Viper classified. I may have just made that up. Yeah, I think I've made that up. That's not the Saw Viper backpack. What backpack is that? Because I recognize it. Does anyone know what it is? It is nothing like the Saw Viper. Thank you, Ed. Thanks for that, mate. This is what I mean. Like, when it comes to reuse and parts and stuff, I just have no clue. Is it new? Oh, Roadblock. Is it Roadblock? Don't recognize it. New to me, new. Okay, cool. All right, then that's great if it's new. For some reason, I looked at it and I thought it's a reuse, but that's not a problem if it's not. That's great if it's a newie. So yeah, there is the backpack and the hose. So that's nice. We're getting like a very retro inspired Breaker, including the bubble gum. I kind of think. Sorry, TF Roadblock and Saw Viper share the same backpack. Thank you guys, appreciate it. So again, you can't really do Breaker without bubblegum, can you? Like, that seems to be locked in now with Breaker forever. Wasn't obviously in the first release of Breaker, but thanks to Codename Iowa and Assembly Required, Brian Sauer, we did get a little piece, two pieces of bubblegum that you could attach to your mouthpiece on the helmet. It's nice that we're getting the bubblegum in the face, though, isn't it? They should have done a third head sculpt that has it burst all over his face like that, and then is like, you're trying to get it back and some of it stays, and you're like, oh no. Anyway, bubblegum, lovely stuff. And also a nice little touch here, reutilizing that secondary that Grunt uses and changing the name, of course. They have A Kibby E4 on his little kind of chest thing there. So yeah, a nice little Alvin Kibby homage there for the real name, of course, Phil Breaker. He also comes with the mass device element from the volcano. Is that right? I can't remember at all anything. Obviously, it must be, because the underwater one is with the divers. We'll talk about them a little bit later, and then the radioactive one is Snake Eyes in the Arctic. So yeah, beard and bubblegum, not a good time indeed, Scott. Paul says, I think he looks perfect. He does. I wonder if head swaps between first release and mass release. I would I wouldn't put any money on that, to be honest. Need a Mobat with popping sound effects now. Brilliant pass. Without the beard, he looks like Norman Bates. Where does he not have a beard? Anyway, that's so there, and that of course is the element that he comes with. Brilliant stuff. Now, the divers, another mass device kind of situation, and this is a versus pack again. So we're getting a few more versus packs, it would appear. The Twilight Guard and the Steel Core Commander were the first of those two kind of versus 2 packs. This looks like a follow-up second one, and also, as far as we're aware, this is also a Target exclusive. So, like I said, we'll have to wait until we get more information from the fan stream, but they have the underwater mass element there as well. But again, that is what we are operating on in terms of information. I've also just noticed there's only one little what they called kind of underwater like engine device things that move you around a little bit. There's only one of those in red. The Joes don't seem to have them, so interesting. Obviously it would have been, I mean, that set is already mental, isn't it? It's like 2 of the it's almost like 2 of the friggin 60th divers, basically, with all that gear you get. Of course, you've got the backpacks. It's all like Joe and Cobra coded. So you've got the Cobra logos on the Cobra guys, Joe logos on the Joe, obviously. Interesting though, this is mass device for them to be using this like star and stripes situation, when obviously in the Sunbow cartoon they didn't really have that. But it's also nice that they kind of cover them with the secondaries, so you sort of don't see it if you don't want to see it, if that makes sense. Of course, yellow and red, very simple repaint. These are very simple repaints, and it's a very like easy way of doing this, like getting the divers out there. This also, what I will say, I'll throw in there, that's Copperhead's machete, isn't it? As well in there. They've thrown that in there just as a random extra. But like, I think when it comes to the underwater stuff, what is it, like eels? We've got 2 different types of eels. We've got an eel from the retro, we've got eel from the standard classified series, you've got torpedo, you've got the divers from the 60th, and let's say shipwreck, right? So there's 5 sort of water-based characters. Copperhead would actually we've got to throw Copperhead in there. There's 2 versions of Copperhead, so technically 7. Am I missing anyone? I think that's it for water-based. So you got like 7 classified figures that fit that water-based theme, right? So bringing this in as troop builders, I feel like you've kind of got a pretty solid. It does have the not the Cobra cartoon gun. Oh, I see what you mean. Sorry, mate. Yeah, you're right. That would have been a good addition. Sorry, I just saw your comment there, Brian. I was about to say, but there is a Sunbow rifle in there, but yeah, obviously not only for the Joes. So I think with this as a troop builder, quite an easy one as well at that point, like 2-pack, get a couple of these, you've got quite a few figures there on hand. It fills out that sort of water-based group. Yes, we do need water vehicles, absolutely. I think a Devilfish could be on the horizon because of the size of it. I really sort of wish a moccasin would come out of this, and you could throw in what was that weird figure they threw in with one of the moccasins in is it Rise of Cobra? One of those lines when they did like a water moccasin sort of thing, and the I can't remember what the vehicle driver was, but I don't think it was Copperhead. I think it was some other kind of character. Maybe it was like a Swamp Viper or something. But maybe you could do something like that with a water moccasin, and then you've already got Copperhead, so you don't need another Copperhead. I don't know. Night Landing is a good shout as well. Viper Scout, yes, indeed. A whale might be a little bit. That might be a bit more HasLab-y, and I don't necessarily think that. I mean, I'd love it, but it'd be massive. Yeah, Swamp Viper. I thought it was a Swamp Viper. So the AVAC recolored, exactly. Yes, Ed, it was an AVAC redeco as a Swamp Viper. Flaffle says, all these divers, Hasbro's going to hold off on Chris's Hydro Viper longer. They better not. I better get that Hydro Viper tomorrow. Oh, Michael's, yeah, sorry. You said Cophead did come with the Rise of Cobra Water Moccasin, but also a Swamp Viper did. Yeah, awesome. That's cool. My point was that I was trying to get something other than a Copperhead if they were to do a Water Moccasin, and I think they've got that sort of option to do a Swamp Viper with it, without it being like, it doesn't come with Copperhead, but everyone knows who's going to go with it. Do you know what I mean? Shark is a good shout as well. Really good shout. Hydro Sled is also possible, isn't it? Yeah. Piranha. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, let's have a look. So they also come with the Mass Device element, the underwater one, a couple of different head, like the oxygen masks as well with the hoses, one in yellow with the green lenses, and then all black with a little bit of red and blue lenses for the Cobra one, which is pretty cool. I like that it's not like a mirror image, so it's not just like the hoses are red, violets are blue. It's not like the hoses are red on the Cobra one. They've done like a slightly different deco scheme, I imagine you'd say it, on both of those different things. So that's kind of cool. And then, of course, just a close up on the actual figures and the different head sculpts. Lots of different skin tones, so you can really build out these. Get like a few sets of these and really build out lots of different troop builders. So you got the Joes on one side in yellow, and then you got the Cobra team on the others. Again, different head sculpts. Really good options actually as well. That one on the light skin tone with the kind of like 5 o'clock shadow sort of vibe. I'm loving that. That is like, he looks like a bad guy, doesn't he? He actually looks like a bad guy. I think that's spot on. They are different as well. I think they might not be. It might just be the 5 o'clock shadow that does it. I think they are different head sculpts. Yeah, I think they are. That's pretty cool. Anyway, very cool indeed. Again, this is a simple one. It's a nice way of being able to do it, a quick way to be able to do it, and there's not a lot of stuff that we haven't seen already. It looks like Dan Larson. Did you say, Stanley? Wow, Dan's going to think I hate him. No, I don't at all. There is there is a little bit of Dan in that. Yeah, that's funny. But looking at the whole set, I'm like, it's a quick and easy way. And then, of course, they've thrown in a couple of other aspects like the mass elements, and a quick and easy way of troop building water troopers and getting that mass homage in there as well. So yeah, there you go. Pretty simple, straightforward on that one. Then we move on to the retro cards. Now, of course, we've seen these leaked already, so this isn't anything kind of really surprising or new to us. We've seen these figures leak in complete deco as well. So CoverGirl, I think, looks phenomenal. We also already know, based on those leaks, that her heads are removable. Her hair pieces are removable. That one hair piece with the hat and the ponytail, that can be removed from that head and be put onto the other one, and vice versa. So you have those options. It's not just that head has the smile and that one doesn't, sort of thing. So you've got like options with this CoverGirl, with what display you want to kind of go with. I love the fact that we've got a long hair CoverGirl. Mass Device as well. It's not a Mass Device theme, but obviously fits that theme very nicely, even though we're dealing with a retro card. You got the Sunbow rifle, you got a pistol, spare, you got the fists, and you've got the C grips, the O grips. O grips would be if they like didn't separate at the thumbs. The wrench, of course, or spanner, adjustable spanner, as I would call it. The massive, sledgehammer. I wanna be sledgehammer. And perfect for a tank mechanic, that, innit? And I love the fact that obviously we get close up of those head sculpts. Again, we've seen these sort of already. They look phenomenal. She looks great. And you can see it very clearly now. the Pitts garage on the hat, with a tire sort of fizzing across the hat as well. Very cool, and a lot clearer now. Funny show, Sledgehammer. Indeed, it is funny around here. It's funny looking around here on this show. I keep spitting on my. It's spitting. I keep spitting on my laptop. Sorry, it's gross. You don't have to. You didn't have to know that. But every time I get excited and start talking a little bit, it goes, and then I have to clean it. But if I clean it like forcefully, I'll just start moving the cursor around the screen and probably like click off this or end the stream by accident. So I'm not going to do that. The math device sounds like the worst show ever. Did I say math? Sorry, I meant mass. Heavy adjustment tool. I like that, Jedi Ben. That's brilliant. Anyway, that is Cover Girl, I believe. Then, of course, we have Flint. And again, we've sort of seen this one. Again, like fully leaked, deco and everything. I think he looks phenomenal, personally. I'm really excited to get this particular Flint in hand on a retro card. Backpack is up the right way up this time. And we get a really nice look at the proportion of that head sculpt and the beret and everything. And I think this definitely looks incredible. I think the proportions are perfectly fine on this one. And I think the beret looks really good. And I think from certain weird angles and, poor lighting and everything in some of those leaked images we saw, I don't think we saw the true beauty of this particular Flint figure. And as you can see, I think that looks pretty good. And I know renders aren't necessarily indicative of what we see in real life, and we have actually already seen these in real life. So I don't know. I think I'm very excited to see the promotional images, the in-hand sort of product kind of displays when they're doing the live event. I'm excited to see these for sure. Extra large pistol holder, says Lego Star Wars Kid, says the only thing you're not a fan of on that. It does look a little bit big, doesn't it? But yeah, it does actually look a little bit large. It does stick out a little bit. I'm not sure why they've gone so large with it. There must be a reason for it. The pistol, though. Oh, the one thing for me, though, was not giving him his sort of classic Sunbow pistol, because I think that would have been a lovely addition to this figure. Maybe not, both pistols, maybe just the one, but I would have loved that pistol so much at this scale. Anyway, love it. Think he looks great. Moving on. Oh no, there's the backpack, the right way up this time, and looking very Flint backpacky, isn't it? With the cantina and angle, the grenades and those flares. Have we talked about this before, haven't we? What are they? I thought they were flares. What do you guys think they are? Those red little kind of tubes. I just thought they were flares, but I could be, I don't know, I could be wrong on that one. We are going to mail Diagnostic 88. I've gone up a few years there. Box of sanitizer wipes for his laptop spit. Yeah, that actually, Jay, that would be very appreciative. I could do my pop shield as well and my mic. Where's the iconic mini shotgun? There's his shotgun on the right-hand side. I'm not sure, it's not mini. It's just there on the right-hand side. So he's got his classic shotgun. Right then. TNT, says Lego Star Wars Kid. Burrito holsters, says Stanley Eberhard. TNT, says Lego Star Wars Kid again. Definitely look more flairish now, says Scott. Dynamite, says Venom. Electric Salt and Pepper Shaker, says Toy Bounty Hunter. Skipping Rope, says Leon Jarmo. That's a good one. I'm better put it on screen so we know what we're talking about. Red Flasks with Champagne. He's got a date with Lady J, says Joe. Happy GI Joe Day to you as well, Jeremy. Skipping Rope, Leon. Interesting. Flint's original file card mentioned hostage rescue. Flares would make sense for extraction, says Dry Raven 3RVN. Sorry for butchering that name. Maybe shotgun shells holder, says Johnny B54. All of the nunchucks has passed. All of these are very, possible, aren't they? I guess we'll have to ask the team what they've decided they are. Flares, to me, says RKW. Flares, Ed says question mark. I thought that was Daredevil's beat 'em up sticks. Okay, there's a new one. Good. A new one has entered the team, the arena there. Anyway. Smoke. Nice. That's another good shout, Jedi Ben. Pipe bombs. Oh my God, it could be anything now. I'm going to actually ask the team. But anyway, that's Flint. Now, Tele-Viper markers, Abbott. I like that. Like permanent markers or like smoke markers. Either way, I'm with it. Chinese scrolls, says Venom. Also good. Yes, so Tele-Viper. Again, another one that we've seen leaked. Gave kind of the entire game away with the extra heads with the the writing on the visors. All of the kind of stuff that we expected. New elements, of course, on the Tele-Viper as well, which is amazing. The fact that we've got 2 different versions of the Tele-Viper, well, 3 counting the Python Patrol, makes me very happy because I am a Tele-Viper fan. And of course, these beauties, alert and what the, as they get punched in the face. Really good options for for those kind of like sunbow little things on there. I cannot multitask for the sunbow phrases that go across their visors. Brilliant. So yeah, I would have liked to have. What would you have liked to have seen with these visors? What terms? I personally was hoping for intruder, because I've seen that a few times. Bit longer though, and alert makes more sense. It's more direct. And intruder alert, I think, was one I've seen as well. Ouch is another one I wanted to see, that from Worlds Without End, because he gets crushed by that like rocks from the building that they take out in the HQ, and then it just goes ouch. That would have been brilliant. That would have been so good. What do you guys want? Danger, says 80s Toy Boy. That's a good one. WTF, that's a good one. RKW, I like that. Is that shoulder logo offset? Yes, it's on. It is. It looks weird on that render, doesn't it? I don't know if that's what it's going to look like. Broadband's gone down, says Leon. Genius. Ouch. Yep. Bitume would be a good one past the pierogi. Holy Schmokes is another good one there, Stygian. Son of a. That's a good one, Scott. I like that. Chris, what do you think the Ore Striker will be repainted into? Probably in black. And there's a desert one, isn't there? There's like a tan one. And Eco Striker. And Faux Striker, that greyish one. So yeah, I think, or whatever, there's all sorts of colours going on that. But you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I think any of those would probably work. Intruder is great. Yeah, Intruder would be good. This may have been covered. What happened to the Trench Viper and Bunker listing? I think it was just removed, Zed. I think they sold out and they just took it off. I don't think a lot of the time they think about what is being removed and what's staying on. I think they just make space sometimes, especially from a text position point of view. They probably just see that it's sold out and just remove it. I don't think it means anything more than that. Should be mirrored text, says Airborne Customs. Well, both has been shown, unfortunately, Darren. Neither is canon. So both ways have been shown in Sunbow. So it shouldn't be either and it shouldn't be the other. It could be either or both. How about a reflection of someone's fist coming at the Tele-Viper? That's a good shout, Toy Bounty Hunter. Blimey, Lawrence, that's a funny one. Holy Shnikes is a good one, Abbott, as well. Shit, says Jeremy, just cutting it off before it finishes. Pass finished it for you, though. Schwing. Brilliant. Wait is a good one. Shelf presence. Eco Striker, says Jeremy. Eco Striker, says Viper Scout. Faux Striker, says Ed. Let's effing go, says Action J. Tiger Striker, says Shannon. Actually, considering we haven't really had a Tiger Force Ore Striker, yes, I'm with you on that one. Street Fighter Ore Striker, that would be cool. And mental, Leon. Blitz says on break and loading and for options for the visors. They're all great, those. On break's a good one. Don't talk to me. I'm having my lunch. Loading is genius. Or just the just the circle of death just going around in the middle. That would be really funny. Is a good one as well. I never was a fan of the marquee visor gimmick personally, says Lone Wolf. Yeah, it's for some people, not for others. Totally. Eco Striker with Ozone would make me happy. Oh, same, Ed. Same. White Vegeta says Tan Striker. Yes. Septic Tank from the Hiss says Stygian. That would be cool. Jumped on late. Was All Striker talked about already? No, Johnny. I haven't got there yet. Let's come back. 404 not found. There we go. Toy Bounty Hunter. 404 not found would be great on a Tele-Viper visor. I'm getting to a lot of comments today. SOS is a good one as well, Jay. But moving on. Beachcomb is a good repaint. We'll get to the All Striker in a second. I'm getting very distracted here. Anyway, that is the Tele-Viper. So that's the first that's the first post from GI Joe. Now we get the Hasbro Pulse social post share, and that is, attention GI Joe fans, it's GI Joe Day, and we're dropping intel on 3 new exclusive classified series render reveals straight from the front lines. Explosion or Striker with Crankcase. Built for speed, terrain, and combat, this off-road beast will be ready to deploy with Crankcase behind the wheel. Cobra Snake Armor or Cobra Snake Battle Armor, a mechanized force of destruction, Cobra's latest battlefield innovation in 6-inch scale and more menacing than ever. Cobra Ninjas Slice and Dice, masters of deception and destruction, this ruthless duo is sharpening their blades to carry out Cobra's next plot. But that's not all. We're picking up chatter about an incoming GI Joe Classified series fan stream later this month. More details are coming soon, but trust us, you won't want to miss this mission briefing. So let's have a look at these. Now, I've heard a lot of comments about the All Striker. Some people not digging it. Some people, let's just say straight from the off here, the render reveals don't always give you the exactly what you're getting. So in terms of this angle, I don't think it is the most, how do I put it? I don't think it's the most photogenic angle they've chosen. But they have to, because that's how the renders sort of work, isn't it? Flattering is the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Blitz. But there's a lot of things to actually tell you about that you probably aren't aware of yet. First of all, the seat at the back and the roll bar for the seat are removable. So you take those off and you get the classic All Striker silhouette, basically. Now, again, I think seeing it from more angles and everything, I think one of the main issues I think people are having with this render are the small wheels at the front. The small wheels at the front. And I've got to admit, I think those front wheels would have done well to be a little bit bigger. But we'll see when we see all the promo images and everything about it. I think we're dealing with not the best angle of viewpoint here, personally. I think this is going to still be pretty damn rad. But again, it's got all the usual All Striker sort of elements going on. The antennae. It's got really again, when you got the seat position and that roll bar and the gun kind of emplacement on the top. I also wonder if that's removable. Are there other things that they might not have been able to fit on here? Maybe a different weapon on the top. I don't know. But either way, you've still technically got that gun on the roof. It's just not that kind of classic gun that we've seen on. It's weird as well, that thing, isn't it? It looks like it looks like a laser cannon, to be honest. But still, let's get through it anyway, because I think this is probably, for me, the best Crankcase figure that's ever been made, ever. Because Crankcase always got a bit of a raw deal. The first vintage figure is good, but he does look very, how do I put it? He looks like Ron Swanson. He looks like Normcore. He looks like he's in the band Future Islands, if you know what I'm getting at. There's just a very funny sort of somebody's dad in Crankcase, do you know, but from like the 80s or the 70s. That's sort of what it feels like. And Crankcase, I feel, has had a bit of a raw deal going through the years with figures that have kind of come out since. Like, I don't think he got a decent 4-inch modern figure. I mean, he got figures, but he didn't get like a legitimate good head sculpt version. Do you know what I mean? unless I'm missing one, I'm not thinking of one off the top of my head. But this, I look at this and I'm like, okay, they have sort of nailed the crankcase norm core element of it, but they've also just made him 10 times cooler. And I just think the design looks really good. I like the secondary over the top of the the vest. Dude's rocking a proper vest. Love it. Whose legs are those? Don't know, actually, Stan. I'm crap at that. I'm the worst person to ask when it comes to parts, unfortunately. But I think he looks great. And loads of extras with this particular driver. The dagger, obviously, the pistol, fine. But then he's got a neckerchief, and he's got the kind of, and he's got it like the face covering and the goggles, so that obviously when he's in the desert, he's not going to get blinded by sand and dust and all sorts of crap. And the other thing I would suggest about that is it kind of reminds me of, was it Night Fox that they did, came with one of the Ore Strikers? That Night Fox figure is really cool, and sort of hints a little bit at Night Fox, which I think is quite cool. So maybe they're trying to say that Crankcase was always Night Fox. I don't know. I'm just saying it. And of course, you've got that, what looks to be a Reno 911 is a perfect thing, actually, there, Rondo. Absolutely. What I was trying to get at before. I think the helmet, the ferret, it might be a retool, but it's probably bigger than the. Yeah, it's got to be a completely retooled helmet, but it's following a similar vibe to the Ferret Scout helmet. So I'm assuming that it's a different one, because obviously the helmet's probably going to be smaller on the Ferret Scout than that it's going to be on the male figure. So yeah, so there you go. So he's got basically a kind of like motorcycle or motocross helmet. And of course, it doesn't have the fangs, so obviously it's a complete retool, renew element. Brilliant, awesome. Then you've got the helmet on the other side, that kind of like more, I would say classic, but it's modern anyway, but a more classic helmet for Crankcase. So you can, you know, have him rocking what he looked like previously. And then you've got a visor with off-road written on it, which is adorable, like one of those kind of like just the peak with the, you remember the visor sort of hats with the strap that goes all the way around. I actually have a few of them. And then on top of that, a really cool mug with Yojo written on it, which is brilliant. Yeah, I love that. And yeah, it's like one of those massive kind of mugs, isn't it, that you see loads of people rocking. I like that. It's really awesome. Love it a lot. Joe's are going to tease him for not having a true Stanley mug. Yeah, exactly, Snodrich. Important question: does it have suspension on the wheels? That I don't know yet, Viper Scout. I do not know that. Anyway, moving through, that's Crankcase, and I think they've done a phenomenal job on Crankcase, 100%. Oh, there's a close-up as well, so you can see everything on there. So it's Yo with 3 stripes, I think, and then Joe. I don't think it's YOE Joe. I think it's Yo, the stripes and the star logo, Joe, which is brilliant. Yes, Jay, that's what his mug says on it, Yo Joe, with the logo. Lovely stuff. He's also got a tampon on his left arm as well, which I think is probably just the 3 stripes and the star, isn't it? But anyway, there you go. Then all the other extra elements, you get the toolkit, you get the gas can, you get the ammo boxes with the actual the bullets and everything, the ammo belts, and 2 rockets to go in those rocket launcher pods on the top of the, you can kind of see it on the screen right now, either side of the gun you've got 2 kind of rocket launchers as well, which is pretty neat, pretty nifty. And then here's a close-up of the Ore Striker itself. Again, I wouldn't put too much stock in the render at this stage, because proportionally and dimensionally and angles and all that kind of jazz, it is a render, don't forget. Let's hold judgment till you actually see the vehicle. But I will say that I think, personally, I probably would have made the front wheels a little bit bigger. And that's probably all I would change about that. I would just make those front wheels a little bit bigger. But other than that, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But that is the Ore Striker with Crankcase. And it's so funny to me that in the last couple of weeks, GI Joe Marvel was. However, question is the Trench Viper officially sold out? Yes. I think in the last couple of weeks, the fact that we've had Fans Hobbies kind of Chenouth been revealed, and this is what we're working on next, sort of thing. Then Gridiron drop yesterday, their Jungle Hound, and now this. It's like, Matt, we have got so many options, at least. So it's a kind of a pick and choose scenario, I think, for a lot of people out there. Happy that the wheels have some aggressive tread. Yes, absolutely, White. There's a serious aggression in the tread on those wheels for sure. I kind of hate that it comes with the piddly little machine gun and not the recoilless rifle that the original had. Yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it, to have Marnius 28, to have that kind of like big old kind of juicy cannon on the top of it. I was thinking about taking back wheels and mounting them to the front, but the connecting points may be different and the front to rear alignment might not allow for it being level to the ground, says Paul. Yeah, I don't think it would. Leon says Gridiron is designing wheels now. Well, they've already got the entire vehicle, so I don't think they need to design anything to change anything on this. I'm shocked they didn't give the Striker some tattoos. Hilarious. Okay. Nice one, Zoran. Right, so next up, we have the Snake Armor. Now, again, this is kind of insane, and I would suggest that there may be things that we're not seeing here that also... there's more to this than meets the eye, I believe. I'm on the understanding that this thing is absolutely massive, right? So because this is absolutely massive, and if you take a good close up of the front, there is a hinge at the bottom of the waist. So that obviously comes down. There are line marks all over this bad boy, but if you look underneath the helmet, I've got a feeling that is a position that unlocks as well. I think this thing opens up, and I think a figure goes inside. I don't think it goes inside in the same way that figures go inside of old school Snake Armors, like through the arms and the legs section, because as you can see there, it would be impossible to do so. If you look at the legs and the hips, the way they're aligned, I think this thing is massive, and I think the figure sits in the top. That is my guess, because look at it. You can see there are elements that open up and move. I think the figure sits inside this at the top, and I think because of that, this thing is freaking massive. So this is my guess, and if I'm wrong, sue me. Well, don't actually, but if I'm wrong, you can yell at me. But I just feel like there are elements on this thing that I look at. There are design elements I'm looking at, very considered line breaks that just, and a hinge, for goodness sake. I'm thinking I think this thing removes, opens, and I think a figure sits inside. And I am so excited to see this shown off. This is a low key, like, this is one of those things where if you said to me like, oh, Snake Armor's coming, okay, cool. But seeing this, I'm like, damn. Like, if this is what I think is gonna happen, wow. It's probably going to be expensive though, based on that. Oh, RS Seattle says Lenny posted a nesting doll gif with this on IG. I think a drone or smaller robot pops out. That's a good shout, actually. I assume this is about 9 to 10 inches tall, too small for a full fig. But like I propose, RS Seattle, I'm thinking a seated situation. But also, I think that's a good shout. I think having a smaller drone or a smaller kind of like something inside it is almost certain to happen. That is a good shout, actually. I actually almost want to defer to your idea of having something smaller inside, like a little robot or a little extra thing. I think that would be kind of cool, actually. I don't necessarily always need things to be exactly the same as they were. I don't need a figure to go in it necessarily, but it would be cool if it did. I guess we'll see, won't we? So let's yeah, so again, this one is one of those ones where you hold judgment a little bit, but just from the image, it looks phenomenal. Proper mech like as well, following on nicely from the kind of hitting the heavy duty situation with the with that kind of mech gear that he wears. But this is just, yeah, this is nuts. I've gone too far again. I should have gone backwards. And as you can see, there are different hand attachments. You've got like a gripping claw. I think that's a 3-way claw at the top there. Yeah, I think it's just at an angle. It might be a 2-way gripper, but it might also be a 3-way gripper. I can't tell exactly. Are the fingers jointed? I don't know, actually, 49 O'Brien. They sort of look like they're not, because they're doing exactly the same thing, kind of mirror image of each other. And I think if they wanted to portray that they were movable, they would kind of put them in different positions, maybe. But I don't know is the answer to that one. And then, of course, you've got the other attachments there, kind of like the missile attachment, the kind of laser attachment. And then on the other side, what looks to be some sort of crazy flamethrower with blast effects as well. So that's really cool. I think this is a very awesome addition to the line right here, and I can't wait to see this one in action, because it's I think this one's going to be massive, as in large. Oh, that's a good shout, actually. You can judge scale by the flame effects, RKW. So if we get that one of those flame effects that we already know exists, yeah, that looks pretty big. Anyway, we shall see, won't we, what comes with it. I do like that idea, though, of like some sort of little robot or drone inside, and I think that is definitely something I could see the team doing, as opposed to putting a figure in there. But we'll see, I guess, won't we? We will absolutely see in a few weeks' time, or a week, or whenever they're doing their bloody live stream event. I wish they'd put a date on it. That would have been great. 9 to 10 inches for sure. I mean, that is massive, though, isn't it? That is going to be pretty big. I think a figure could fit in there, seated. But we'll we'll have to see, won't we? But my goodness, what a beauty! Sorry, I'm just disappearing into the awesomeness that is that snake armor. Now, we also got this 2-pack. Now, again, we've known about this for a while. These leaked quite some time ago, didn't they? With regard to oh, that's fun. Sorry, I just got. How do I manage this? Thank you to Raisin Troik Tsar for this image, which you might be able to see, but you can see a figure next to it, the torch figure next to it. I think a figure can fit in the top seated. I'm just saying. That is the scale based on the flame effects being the same size from the renders. And I'm telling you now, that is a big creature of a machine. And I genuinely think you could sit someone in that. You flex those legs up, and I think that torch fits in there. Damn. Anyway, by the by, thank you for that, Azar. Much appreciated. I'm going to love the comments that you just sent me as well. Thank you. But coming back from the snake armor, coming to this 2-pack. Like I said, we've known about this for a while. Slice and dice. The figures leaked a while back. I will actually, and I will credit Zara as well. I will do that once I finish this episode, Darren. I will post that image. Or do I do it now? Do I just multitask? Multitask, as I would actually say. I will credit you as well. Don't you worry. Ray and I just remembering how to spell that first part, though, which is impossible. Check this render. What would you say? Comparison. Check this render comparison with Torch for the snake armor. Image courtesy of Ray. I'm gonna have to see how it's It's Ray NS TROY K and then Tsar. Thank you, much appreciated. And now I'm going to claim it as my own. I'm not claiming it as my own. I've just given you credit. So there you go. And I appreciate that as well, because it shows the comparison based on the what do you call it, flame effect sort of thing. My God, that is crazy. If that is genuinely the scenario we're dealing with, this thing's massive and also phenomenal. I'm going to go back one page before we get stuck into that while I'm posting this, because I keep talking about it. Yeah, I'm looking at slice and dice on screen, and that doesn't make any sense. I also have to post this on like 500 different places, because that's how I work now. Get in there very slowly. You're all probably thinking, why you should have someone that does this in the background, and that would be great, but we are not that big. We're not in a position to have someone other than me doing everything, for sure. Okay, there's that. Nearly finished. I've got 2 more posts to make, and then I can get back to what we're doing on here. Yikes, I didn't realize. I've not been looking at the socials since I posted all the images of things, and it's getting out of hand. I've lost count of, I can't keep up. Sorry. If you've posted on comments and asked questions, I'm sorry, I haven't been able to get to them, because I just cannot, for the life of me, even comprehend the amount of things that are going on right now. And then, okay, so finally, there, done, finished. That took a while, didn't it? Snake Armor, phenomenal. Let's move on to Slice and Dice. Now, like I said before, we're in a position, aren't we, where we have seen these figures in hand. We've seen a lot of the weapons and accessories that come with them, but we haven't seen all of them, because holy guacamole, what kind of mental amount of accessories is this for a 2-pack? How crazy is this? So not only are we getting the Slice and Dice figures as they are, with alternate hand options, you got C grip, punch, and chop on both figures. Both have unique hands as well, I believe. You then have all the different secondaries and elements on the figures themselves. You've got their classic head sculpts. Again, what we expected, to have the skin painted underneath the mask. So again, I'm glad that they're doing that as well. And then, of course, you've got, you know, the classic, you got the Slice helmet as well, which I think is just smooth as far as I can see. Yeah, it looks like it's just a smooth kind of like, it's not like, you know, netted, like you would necessarily get that texture. I can't tell, actually. I haven't gone close enough to it to see. But my goodness, these look great. I love all the extra additions on the bodies of the figures as well. So they really do differentiate them with any other kind of secondary, with any other parts that have been reused. But there's a lot of new stuff going on here. Are they reusing nunchuck shoulder pads? I don't believe so. No, I don't believe so. Oh, hang on. Are they? No, they're not. They're different. Nunchucks has like little pouches on the side. Those do not. So they're not. They're different. And yeah, so going through the vast amount of cool stuff here. Yeah, I don't think it's textured, is it? It's not, but it still looks bloody cool. Man, all the heads on here are phenomenal. So they've given that one that we saw that was all in black a kind of chrome faceplate on the right there for Slice, which is just so cool. That thing looks so good. It's sort of all chromed out. Then you've got Dice's head unmasked, which I like the fact they've done that. I like the fact they haven't just done a mask with a head. They've given us 2 different head sculpts, which is crazy as well. And then you've got what I'm expecting is for Dice as well on the left-hand side. That one that we saw, the dragon mask, which we didn't know they were going to do. Well, we didn't know what deco they were going to do. And lo and behold, it is crazy cool. Blue, red, silver. the black part of the head as well at the back with the straps floating down the back as well. Just so many great options here for this tube. This 2-pack has gone up, in my estimation, so high with these additional elements. Like, obviously, like I said, we have seen these a while back. They were leaked. A lot of the accessories that came with them were leaked, but they didn't show everything, did they? No, they didn't. Because, my goodness, they have thrown some weapons in here, haven't they? We've got that kind of staff weapon with the blade on the end of it, and then we've got the kind of, the Big Trouble in Little China elements going on here. You've got that kind of the hat that's obviously going to be going. I think either of them can use it, but it seems to be closer to Dice, doesn't it, than it does Slice. I guess both characters can operate those extra elements, including that kind of like sash hanging kind of ripped bit of material as well. It's so good. It's probably like the Raiden hat, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Just one Psi. Is that true? Is there just one Psi on there? Yes, there is just one Psi. Size matters. Hilarious. It does. Yeah, it is just the one Psi as well. And then of course you've got those kind of like very ornamental or kind of like decorative axes with the kind of curved edges and the spike on the top and the curve on the back. I forget what the name of that is. There's a specific name for that type of sort of bladed kind of axe weapon. Then you've got those like really crazy kind of spike kind of weapons that I think the Turtles came with back in the day as well, but not as violent looking. And then there's a piece on the top which you guys might have to help me out here with. I don't know. I think it's extra secondaries, isn't it? I don't know what that one on the left is. The one in the middle is obviously like a secondary with, knives tucked in that you can change, that can go over the body. But I don't know what that thing on the left is. That kind of, well, as you look on the screen in the middle top, that black thing with like weird shape. I don't know what that is. Anyone have any ideas? It's a 2-sword holder. Thank you very much, Leon. That makes a lot of sense. So that goes on the back. It's a backpack sword holder. There you go. Thank you very much. I didn't know, and I hadn't thought about it long enough to realize. So thank you very much for that one. So yeah, that will be a backpack connector, I imagine, on the other side of that, like a little peg, and then 2 swords go in it. Madam, 2 swords go in it. Then of course you've got the Psi, which we mentioned a second ago, just the one. You've got those. You've got some crazy like other swords down the bottom there. There's kind of ones with the handle with the kind of flared little like piece off the hilt, which is crazy as well. So those 2 weapons, and then the 2 hook kind of, I forget what they're called as well, but we've seen those a few times. They might be reuse weapons, right? Have they been used already? Has Nunchuck had those, or Kamakura had them? Maybe not. Maybe I'm making that up. Maybe the Blue Ninjas had them. I don't know, actually. Maybe they are new. Either way, there's a lot of cool stuff in this set. Like a lot of cool stuff. I hope this comes with a weapons rack, says 49 O'Brien. I don't think so. But that would be great, wouldn't it? I might have to just use my Snake Eyes 00 weapons rack for this amount of gear. Unbelievable stuff. Like, what a crazy cool set that is. In any case, that is the renders looked at and broken down and discussed. Next up, shall we have a look at what it does to our listings? Let's do it. Okay, so leak listings 2025. The purple are the new ones that have now been unlocked. So as you can see, we've already got we already had Darklon on the left-hand side of that kind of retail wave of 4. So I'm expecting for the fan stream, Frag Viper, Blowtorch, Darklon, and Footloose to be pre-orders. I'm just expecting that 100%. Then, of course, if we flip on over to the other side, we'll see all the kind of unlocked things. So Breaker is SP Philip. And that was the one that I think a lot of people sort of expected him to be, because originally I think some people thought he was going to be a Tiger Force Breaker, because it was going to be it's a Target exclusive. That listing has shown up in the Target system and is still in the Target system. So I imagine they have just changed theme, and we're going to get a Mass Device Breaker, and of course that 2-pack is a Target exclusive as well, Cobra Diver, GI Joe Diver. So they're both unlocked there at the top. That is, I think, one of the only... No, we've got a couple of unknown internal code words still. One is for that vehicle down the bottom, G1233, and the other one is that Target 2-pack. So it might just be that they don't have an internal code word and are just Cobra Diver and GI Joe Diver. It might just be that simple. But anyway, as far as we are aware, they are Target exclusives, with another 2-pack for Target yet to be revealed. Now, as we move through, you'll see that the Snake Armor is American made and is G1061 and is a Pulse exclusive. So yeah, that is the Snake Armor. We're like unlocking that now that we've seen the official reveal, and that is the American made listing right there. Yeah, Pulse exclusive. That's as far as we're aware. That's what the listing stated when we first got them. The GG Goliath vehicle is a Pulse exclusive or Striker with crankcase as well. That is a Goliath, and that is their G1174. Again, as far as we are aware. And of course, Slice and Dice were already unlocked as well. And they're the Red Scare 2-pack because they were leaked a long time back. And I think that is everything listings-wise now. So Slice and Dice, Crankcase, Snake Armor, Divers, Breaker, Darklon. Is that everything? Oh, and of course, yes, of course, the retro classified figures, which make 9. Yes, Tele-Viper, Flint, and CoverGirl, which of course were also already unlocked on our listings because of the leaks. And of course, we've got the Green Shirt Trooper and the Bat as well around the corner. And I expect maybe something to do with Ralph T. But obviously, I think a lot of people thought that Breaker was going to fall into that retro slot, when in actual fact, no, he is a Mass Device figure, which is kind of cool. Anyway, since we're getting the Cobra Diver, we must get Diver Baroness. I think that would be cool, Toy Bounty Hunter, definitely. Leon says, are all listings here, even if uncovered or more not shown? Well, all the listings we're aware of, Leon, for 2025 are on that screen. We don't know if there are other listings. There might be other listings for 2025 that we haven't, that we don't have, or haven't seen or haven't emerged yet. But as far as we're aware, that is pretty much all of the listings that we are aware of. Of course, some of them are known to us, some of them are unknown to us. So, but we can't say until the some sort of leak, or if there's a what's the word, an official reveal, like there has been today. So obviously, Breaker, Cobra Diver, Joe Diver, Snake Armor, and All Striker, we were able to unlock those because they were officially revealed today. Yeah. Diver Baroness is a Mass Device figure that would be perfect, says Crimson Cobra Commander. Yes, definitely agreed on that. Yeah. Footloose wave for pre-order on live stream later this month, I guess. Yes, Leon, I didn't just mention that. I feel like Frag Viper, Blowtorch, Darklon, and Footloose are almost certainly going to be shown off for the fan stream. In addition to that, we do have there's a few things floating around, aren't there? Like the Claw, for example, the Law and Order, the 60th Firefighter. There's a lot of kind of things and figures and what have you that have been revealed for a long time that we don't know where they're going to go in terms of pre-orders yet. I don't know about some of the others. Like, I don't know if we're going to see pre-orders for the All Striker, for all the other stuff. They might spread that out a bit more. We might be looking at like Yojo June and PulseCon as well for the rest of the year to spread some of this out. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Snake Eyes and the Polar Bear is another one. I mean, Slice and Dice wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility. But then, like, I think Tele-Viper, Flint, and CoverGirl, will they all show up for pre-order for February, or will they spread that out a bit? Will they do like another sort of event for that? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, honestly, for that one, because we don't have the information for the fan stream. We don't have any listings for pre-orders for that period of time just yet. So we just have to kind of like, just have to guess at this point. But there's lots of options. There's going to be a lot of pre-orders, I imagine, in February. Chris, is there another vehicle you want announced this year? Oh God, there's loads of things I want announced this year. God, I would want to see, like, personally, I want to see vehicles. Okay, what vehicles? I think like a shark is like way beyond. I think that is a possibility at some point. I think Fang is another one. Do I want both of those? I think I want the shark more than the Fang, but I'd have to say both of those are ones I'd be surprised that, if we don't get them in the next 3 years minimum. I mean, that's a lot of time, isn't it? Like, I don't think we're going to get much else. There's only one known vehicle, and I can't talk about that. I think for the listings here for 2025, and then for 2026, that's a different kettle of fish altogether, isn't it? Which we do have some listings for, but not all of them. We have retail waves of 4 listings, of course, there on the left-hand side for the start of the year Yojo June and PulseCon, and then exclusive and miscellaneous, just a few here and there. Legacy, MD Droopy, whatever that is, JJ Jane or whatever that is, the JQs, Johnny Quests, which are Pulse exclusives, and then your classic, your standard deluxe and figure and pet. But yeah, nothing. And there is a vehicle listing in there for that Pulse exclusive. So I don't know, but we don't know what that is yet. So we're just gonna have to, we're just gonna have to hold fire on that. But what would I want is a good shout. What do I want? I mean, I want a Thunder Machine. I want a Snowcat. I want a Water Moccasin. I want a Devilfish, weirdly enough. I know it's a bit small, but I want that too. I want but the thing is, the vehicles I want are like HasLab levels. It's like the Eagle Hawk / Tomahawk. I want that, and I want the Havoc. But that's way more friggin', you know what I'm saying? Oh, Flaming Crow. Here we go. Entertainment Earth has Hasbro listings for February 6th, 7th, and the 13th. Oh, Hasbro listings. Okay. So it's gonna be one of those dates, isn't it? Basically. Interesting. Because obviously they'll be doing other pre-order drops for other brands. So one of those has to. Does it say on the drop zone? I'll just have a look while we're here. Because that is a great way of really locking in the dates for the fan stream. Usually, Entertainment Earth drop zone. Let's have a look, shall we? 6th is Marvel Legends, so that makes sense. 13th is Maximum Spidey, so that means that 7th is likely. Here we go. Let's see what we've got going on here. So February the 6th, get ready to turn the page and start a new chapter in collecting action figures. That does not help me. But yeah, as it's been stated already, what was it? 6th is Marvel Legends, and 13th is also Marvel Legends. Maybe they're all Marvel Legends. But the 7th could be a possible one, couldn't it? 10 a.m. Pacific. 10, 11, 12. That'd be one. That is, yeah, one. So the pre-orders, that could work. And that's a Friday. That's a Friday. Okay. I like your thinking, though. I like you looking at the drop zone and trying to see a bit more information. Unfortunately, it doesn't give us all the information we need. So we'll have to hold fire a little bit before we start diving into it. But 7th could very well be, and that is like obviously the first week of February. They do say, though, in the thing, later in the month. The 7th is later in the month than the 1st. But it would be weird to say that if it was so soon. But also makes sense after just, having those drops on GI Joe Day. So I think 7th is a good shot. It's a good shout. Let's see what happens on the 7th. Or let's keep an eye on the drop zone, because obviously they like to put in a little description on some of the drop zone things that then give it away always. Has there ever been a Friday stream, any brand? Yes. I want to say there has. I want to say there's been a Friday stream for for GI Joe. But again, it might not be any of those. That 6th, 7th, and 13th could be for all Marvel Legends stuff. So yeah, or it could be for something else completely. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see, guys. We'll have to wait and see. But it's exciting, isn't it? Fang or Fang 2, says James. Well, I like both. Believe it or not, I think the Fang 2 is really cool. It's mental. But I think in terms of classified, it would have to be a standard Fang that would make the most sense. Cobra Stun is a great shout, Zoran. Cobra Stun, but not with the brittle plastic flags. Marvel was on a Friday. Thank you, Snake Eyes. Frank Colosimo says that copy may have been written a while ago and was intended to be vague as no decisions had then been made. Absolutely agree with you on that. Ed says, my opinion, not nearly iconic enough, and we won't get dozens of vehicles. There's a limit to how many we can reasonably expect. Yeah, no, agreed. I think a Cobra Stun, though, would be phenomenal. I agree with a lot of you guys on here for that. Right then. Moving through, so we've got the leaked listings 26, which we've talked about. Not really, anything to go into more detail on that. But we did, and I did speak about this on the weekly with Pat. This 4chan leak, which I call it a leak. I don't know, that might be a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek sort of element there. I think some of it is leaked information. I think a lot of it might be some of the bit of guesswork, because as we can see on there, Retro Breaker was not a retro carded figure. Breaker was actually a mass device with the different listing, etc., etc. Some of it is a little bit suspect and a little bit sort of like, I'm not quite sure. But at the same time, like there is probably a lot of smoke. Sorry, there's probably a lot of fire with this smoke. That makes sense. Night Creeper Leader Budo 2-pack seems kind of fun and cool, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. Blackout and Bomb Strike sounds brilliant. I'd love that as a 2-pack, but it sort of almost sounds like, Grand Slam Laser Viper, very cool. Cesspool Unknown. It seems a little bit like, almost like what I would like to have more than what we could expect. But that's not to say that these are not coming. There's a high likelihood that a lot of these are. This is the problem with a list like this. They put so many characters in the single boxed figures that it's sort of like, it makes you go, wow, have you just written all of the characters we haven't had yet? Apart from obviously a few obvious ones that we've already know about that are coming. Sci-fi not being listed, as a lot of people are saying, does sort of kind of, stand out a little bit. But I mean, like Iceberg, I would not be surprised to see Iceberg. Night Viper, we know is coming. Muskrat, wouldn't be surprised to see Muskrat. Lifeline, it's about damn time, is all I'd say on that one. And certainly, if you put it on a list like this, you're going to be correct at some point in the future. Do you know what I mean? Monkey Wrench, we know is coming, and that has been, revealed, as it were. IG Baroness, or do we know Monkey Wrench is coming? Have I just made that up? Do we know Monkey Wrench is coming? Yeah, we do. Sorry, I'm crazy for a second there. IG Baroness is an interesting one. Iron Grenadier Voltar, Iron Grenadier Darklon. What does that mean? We know Darklon's coming, but he is Iron Grenadiers, I guess. But the IG Baroness one is an interesting one. Voltar makes sense because, you'd expect to see Voltar at some point as well with the animal as well. IG Baroness is really cool. It's one that we've talked about as on the show as something that would be very cool for the Iron Grenadiers to incorporate and to get a female figure in there as well. Female Iron Grenadier would be cool, and an Iron Grenadier Baroness would be pretty awesome. Then, of course, version 4 Snake Eyes, we know is coming. Hydro Viper, I wish. Airtight, another one that you could say, like, if you just put it in a list, eventually you're going to be right. Royal Guard, not sure, honestly. You'd kind of expect it, considering we're going down that road with Nemesis Immortal, with Once a Man Cobra Commander. You expect Pythona and Globulus to be involved as well, which they are on this list as well. So again, not beyond the realms of possibility, shall we say, on that one. Sergeant Flash is actually an interesting one there, because Flash also got a name drop on a leak on his tank. So that's another one that I fully expect to see as well. That's kind of popped up a few times now. So the fact that it's on a couple of lists, and until we get some sort of official kind of thing, or if there's a full-on leak, like a figure leak, like images and stuff, we'll hold fire on some of these, because we know some of them are on point. Psychout's another one. Haven't heard about that one. That's again, that would be great if he is coming. New Firefly Deluxe was an interesting one. Is that sort of, I mean, what are they basing that on? Maybe some sort of like cool Pursuit of Cobra sort of vibe? I don't know really on that one. What would make Firefly Deluxe? That would be really interesting, I think, if they are going to do something like that. Mainframe is another one. You keep saying the name, eventually it's going to turn up, surely, with Mainframe. Annihilator fits with the Iron Grenadier situation. Fast Draw 100% would be great. I'd love that, but I don't know. I can't see it at the moment. You never know, though. Frag Viper we know is coming. Cyber Viper, not a clue. That's a really cool one, though. And I would love for them to do something like along the lines of a Cyber Viper. But yeah, I suppose you've got Cyber Vipers from the vintage era, and then you've got Data Vipers. I wonder which one people would prefer. I must admit, I think the Data Viper is definitely grounded in reality, but the Cyber Viper is kind of crazy, and I'd like to see that in classified. Either way, there isn't anything on this list that I wouldn't want to see. I think it's all pretty dope stuff, but I think there's an element here of wish list going on as well. But yeah, I will say, though, there are some things on here that we know are coming, and that's all I'll say until we get some sort of official reveal. Is that everything? Is that everything? Have I done everything? Yes, I believe that is everything. Right then, let's pop back. Beep, 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 beep. I should have done that more professionally by going like this. Let's just pop back and do that. There we go. That brings me to the end of the my TED talk today. It's very. I must admit, I love it when we get these sort of these days, these kind of like reveal days, and like, we get a fan stream, which I'm assuming will have even more information attached to it. So when the fan stream happens later this month, you're going to have obviously pre-orders. We're going to have name only reveals probably thrown in there. I imagine probably more renders. They might show the renders that we've seen today as well, of course, but some of them are going to be the figures, so they don't need to show those renders. So I think some of the stuff that we've seen today is going to be up for pre-order, and then they'll probably show some of the stuff that we've already seen, and then they might throw in some new renders. Who knows? But who knows? Yeah, that's true, actually, Stanley. There could be more this afternoon and evening, in which case I'll have to go live again, probably just do it tomorrow, but I'll probably leave it for the day now. We've covered this batch. If anything else happens today, I won't go live today. I'll do it tomorrow. And we'll whatever happens, either Hasbro, if Super 7 drop anything, if any other licensees decide to reveal anything for their GI Joe day, we will talk about it tomorrow. But anyway, hope you've had fun with me for another hour and a half. It's been a lot of full force today. You guys are probably like sick of me, which is fine. Yeah, I will see you later then. Happy GI Joe Day. Happy GI Joe Day to one and all. Stay fresh, cheese bags. And as always, after 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Full force. Laters. That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.